News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The pedestrian who was struck and killed Friday on I-90 is a University of Montana hockey player. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, January 26, 2015. Right now, it's not a bad morning. A little bit of fog out there. It's 26 degrees, and we're expecting a high today in near 50 degrees. It's going to be a very warm day for western Montana. And our newscast is sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville, where you'll save hundreds on builders' options to choose from. The pedestrian who was struck and killed by a semi on Interstate 90 has been identified as a University of Montana student who was 19 years old and a member of the U of M hockey team. A spokeswoman said Jake Callan was a junior. The Montana Highway Patrol at Missoula County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene of the incident at about 2:15 Friday morning. In the westbound lanes between Missoula and East Missoula, the driver of the semi-trailer was not injured. Authorities say they do not know why Callan was on the highway, and the accident remains under investigation. A patrolman said Friday that evidence from the scene showed that the driver had put on his brakes in the traffic lane and that there was no indication the vehicle swerved off the road to strike the pedestrian. A bill before the Montana legislature would raise the state's minimum wage by $2.05, up to $10.10 an hour. Senator Jonathan Windyboy of Box Elders says a living wage would be closer to $15 an hour, but that 10.10 has a better chance of making it through the Montana legislature.
People who are on the minimum wage scale right now, they don't have enough money to do savings. Realistically, I think that 14 or 15 will probably have a far less chance than $10 an hour. So that's part of the reason. And also, too, on the national level, our president had proposed 10.10, so I thought, well, that is a good number.
The minimum wage was tabled in committee last Friday, but Windyboy says he's ready to compromise and has already prepared an amendment.
As far as a compromise, I also offered an amendment that the committee, I would hope the committee would consider, and that would be for employers, storefronts that employ small business owners who employ 50 employees or less to have tax breaks for 3 years.
Windyboy did not seem to have much hope in the bill. When asked what he thought the chances were the bill could make it through the legislature, he replied laughingly, saying, "Slim to none." That's a quote. Montana Secretary of State Linda McCulloch is asking for the Montana legislature to change the way it fills vacancies when a U.S. senator leaves the office before a term ends.
Well, this is the third session that I've had a bill on U.S. Senate vacancies, and it would actually make U.S. Senate vacancies follow the same procedure that U.S. congressional vacancies follow, which is to have a special election. The general rule is that if the special election would be held between 85 and 100 days after the vacancy occurs.
McCulloch says that representation in Congress should be chosen by the people, not by a politician.
I don't believe, I've never believed that a politician should be put in the position to have to choose another politician to represent Montana in Congress. I just think that the Montana voters are the best people to count on for that.
Just last year, Montana did deal with a Senate vacancy when Senator Max Baucus became the ambassador to China. Baucus was replaced by interim Senator John Walsh via a governor's appointment, a process that received much criticism by both Republicans and Democrats. A 23-year-old woman has pleaded guilty to child abuse and negligent homicide in the 2012 death of her 3-month-old child in Billings. Amanda Steffen pleaded guilty Friday to negligent homicide, assault on a minor, and common scheme aggravated assault as part of a plea agreement. She admitted that she had hit her daughter in the head and blocked the baby's airway on multiple occasions. The child, Rosanna Fox, had a fractured skull and showed signs of dehydration when she died in June of 2012. The victim's father, Jeffrey Fox, will go to trial on May 4th. On Friday, the University of Montana Bureau of Business and Economic Research kicked off its 40th annual statewide economic seminar right here at Missoula. Bureau Director Patrick Barkey said valuable input is always received at that event.
It's nice that this event is on the business calendar, so we see the same people over the years, and we get their reactions to what we say. So when we talk about what's going on with employment, what's going on with business, we either get agreement or disagreement, but we always get a lot of information.
Barkey said the session focused on business growth in western Montana, particularly real estate and labor matters.
Some of the things we said about what's going going on with economic growth resonated. Particularly, I think the real estate situation in Missoula, we talked about that a fair amount. We do notice from not just the data, but from what people tell us, that labor markets are getting tighter. It's getting harder for employers to find workers. So that is just the tip of the iceberg for, a whole morning's worth of stories and interactions that, always leave us much better.
The tour now hits the road. Will present a seminar in Helena tomorrow. Legislation has been proposed to levy stiffer state fines on Montana landowners who illegally gate roads and require that they show proof of ownership before blocking access. Two Great Falls Democratic lawmakers who are sponsoring the bills said in a statement their goal is to improve public access to public lands by keeping roads they say are public open. 3 people were arrested Friday following an investigation by the Missoula Police Department. Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
Reported theft of an iPod and some check forgeries. That gradually ripened into a larger investigation that led to a search warrant at a residence in the 400 block of North Surrey, where drugs and stolen property were seized and arrests were made.
Welsh provides the identities of those involved in that investigation.
Shalisha Palmer, age 24, and Lance Kicking Woman, age 21, were both taken into custody for felony offenses. A third person, identified as Christopher McMahon, was cited and released for misdemeanor charges related to drug possession.
All 3 have posted bond and have been released from the Missoula County Jail. Will the unseasonably warm temperatures mean trouble for the rivers and streams around western Montana? Meteorologist Dan Zump with the National Weather Service has some of the higher temperatures recorded over the weekend.
We've got some places such as Hamilton that have already gotten up to 60-plus degrees today, and even at the high mountain locations we see across the area 40s and low 50s. So, yeah, we're going to be dealing with some snow melt over the next week.
Zump says the potential for flooding might exist if western Montana gets some sudden moisture.
The thing that would really put us over the top for any kind of flood in the near term would be to have some rain on top of the snow. We're definitely tracking a few storm systems, one on Wednesday and one toward the end of the week, that could add some water to the snowpack in that manner, but we're not expecting it to be a drastic increase in the threat.
High temperatures in the Missoula area are forecast to be in the low to mid 40s through the middle of this week. Newstalk time is 6:10.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Low clouds and patchy fog will give way to a good deal of sunshine today. Afternoon highs will top out in the mid-40s. We'll see a wind out of the southwest at 3 to 6 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.